Hi, my name is Lisa Flanagan, and today I'd like to introduce you to the works of the New York Times bestselling young adult author, Jenny Han. In today's presentation, I'm going to give you some background information about the author and briefly cover some of her first writing endeavors, and then toward the end of the presentation, I'll go into a little bit more depth about some of her more current writings. So first, I wanted to give you a visual reminder that Jenny Han's name is indeed Han, as in Han Solo, and not Han as in hand. So a couple of fun facts about Jenny. She absolutely adores Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She has all the dialogue memorized from the movie Clueless. Her Harry Potter house is Slytherin. She might have wished that Atticus Finch could have been her father, although she does say she's pretty happy with her own parents. And she wishes she could be Oprah's best friend. Now, Jenny's parents actually immigrated here from Busan, South Korea in the 70s and moved to Richmond, Virginia. Jenny definitely grew up as an immigrant's child and had to help her parents navigate the culture and the language. She did enjoy writing as a child, but never thought that she could ever become an author. She just didn't think that was a really, truly viable career path. Most of her writing was just in diaries and journals, and she said she kind of wrote fan fiction about her own life. But when it came time to go to college, she went to UNC Chapel Hill and majored in psychology with a double minor in criminal justice and English. So it was actually in one of her English classes, a class called Writing for Children, that a teacher gave them the writing prompt Under the Tree, and with that prompt, Jenny actually began what would become her first published book called Shug. Now, it didn't get published at that moment. Jenny graduated from college. She moved home and applied to grad schools, and while she was home, she continued to work on that manuscript. But when she finally did get into her first pick of grad school, the New University in Brooklyn, New York, she submitted the manuscript for Shug to one of her workshop instructors, who said it was good enough to be shown to the teacher's agent. And from there, the book was published. So that was written for a more middle school audience, and Jenny said she did pour herself into that book because she thought that might be the one and only book she would ever write. However, she did actually continue writing, and her next, not just one book, but three in a trilogy called The Summer I Turned Pretty series. And this series is about a young girl named Belly, which is short, a nickname for Isabel. And Isabel, or Belly, would spend the summers at the beach. And in particular, every summer she would visit with her friends, Conrad and Jeremiah. But one summer, she starts to develop feelings for Conrad, who may have feelings for her as well. However, so does Jeremiah. So this trilogy follows the love triangle between those characters through The Summer I Turned Pretty, to kind of during their adolescent time period, to It's Not Summer Without You, follows their young adult time period, and Will Always Have Summer follows them into adulthood. So the wonderful thing about this series is each title in this series actually did make it to the New York Times bestsellers list. So that was quite an accomplishment for somebody who thought they might not write another book. Well, after that series, Jenny collaborated with a friend from school, Siobhan Vivian, who was also a New York Times bestselling author. And they collaborated on a series called Burn for Burn. And this series, Burn for Burn, Fire with Fire, and Ashes to Ashes, is about three girls who are not actually friends, but what they have in common is that all three of them have been burned by someone in high school, and they want to enact some revenge on the people who have hurt them. And they agree to help each other to carry out their plans for revenge. So this is kind of a chilling trilogy, and kind of explores the question, is revenge ever justified? Well, after this collaboration, we get into the time period that is encompassing some of Jenny's most recent works. And the book she wrote after that collaboration, the first book she wrote after that collaboration, was To All the Boys I've Loved Before. And in this book, the protagonist, Laura Jean, when she's trying to, she'll have a crush on a boy, and to kind of work through that, she'll write a love letter to him to work through all those impassioned feelings. She folds that letter up, puts it in an envelope, addresses it, and then puts the letter in a hat box, and then she's able to move on with beyond those feelings. Well, she actually has 5 of those letters in her hat box, and one day, somehow, mysteriously, those letters get mailed to the boys, and the book is about what happens as each one of those boys receives their letter. Now, I personally would have to quit high school and move to another state, but I think you'll really enjoy reading about how Lara Jean handles that situation. The second book is called P.S. I Still Love You, and it follows those same characters. An incident that happens early on in this book is an intimate moment is caught on someone's cell phone, and that video goes viral. And some cyberbullying is explored a bit in this book, as well as another crush comes into the picture, and the sisters' relationships are developed a bit further, and then there's some honest talk about sex in this book as well. And this book was actually chosen for the Asian Pacific American Librarians Award, and in 2015-2016. And the committee who chose this book said about the book, we as a committee wished we had had a book like this to read and refer to during our teenage years. Han is able to depict the protagonist in a very positive and relatable light, not only for other Asians, but for people in general. Lara Jean is able to be both Korean and normal. So that was quite a tribute to this book. And as Jenny Han finished this book, she had no intentions of writing a third book. She had planned to go on to a completely different project. However, she couldn't help but think about what else was going to happen to these characters. And so one night she actually started writing a kind of what-if scenario. And when she was still writing at 6 o'clock the following morning, she realized there probably was a third book that she wanted to write about these characters. So Jenny has actually described her writing process as kind of hard. She said she doesn't follow an outline. She doesn't know where the story is going to go. She's kind of described writing for her as more like treading water in the ocean, and you're waiting to catch a wave that's going to take you to shore, and you just don't know which wave that's going to be. However, with her third book in this series, Always and Forever Lara Jean, I think she really did catch that wave that took her all the way into shore. So in this book, we come full circle. In the first book, Lara Jean was watching her older sister having to make choices about her future after high school, and in this third book, Lara Jean is now in that situation. Now, if you'll notice, on the covers of these 3 books, there is an Asian girl depicted in each one, and that was very purposeful on Jenny Han's part. She said that she wanted an Asian girl on the cover. She did not want it to be illustrated. She wanted it to be a photograph so that when an Asian girl walked into a Barnes & Noble, she would be able to see herself depicted in a book. Jenny has said that she feels that we need to get used to seeing main characters who just happen to be of a different race or ethnicity, and that the whole point of their story is not just their race, because there's more to a person than race. It's a part of them, and it's obviously going to come up in the story because that's a part of who they are, but it's not the whole of who they are. And additionally, Jenny says that when you don't get to see yourself represented on in a book or a movie or a TV show, deep inside you get this perception that your story is not as important, or that you don't get to be the hero of your own story. But in the book, in the series, Lara Jean did get to be the hero of her story in book format, and now, additionally, on August 17th of this year, Lara Jean will get to be the hero in her own story in a Netflix movie that's coming out. So to all the boys I've loved before, it will be coming out on Netflix on August 17th. And about that, Jenny posted on Instagram that the most important thing for her as an author is seeing an Asian American girl in the starring role. And with this movie, we get to see not 1, but 3. That is truly groundbreaking. I haven't seen Asian American women centered on the screen since Joy Luck Club, which was nearly 25 years ago. Representation is so important, and this means the world to me. More than anything, I hope that the success of this movie will lead to more opportunities for Asian American actors and writers on down the line. So if you want to keep up with Jenny Han as an author, or with this project, To All the Boys I've Loved Before, you might want to follow Jenny on Facebook, or Instagram, or Twitter, or on her blog, Dear Jenny Han. Now, if you're a little bit worried that you might not be able to read the books before the movie comes out, I did want to let you know that the books can be found on CD at your local library, and the reader of the books is fabulous. If you cannot find them on CD, or if you don't happen to have a CD player, you have another option, and that is to listen to them on your phone. So there's an app called Libby, and you can listen to the e-audio books through that app. If you have any trouble with that, you can just go to your local library, and they'll be happy to help you figure out how to listen to the stories by Jenny Han on your phone. So one of the last things I want to tell you about is in promoting her movie, Jenny is planning a contest until June 16th. This contest is in honor of To All the Boys I've Loved Before, but it is kind of taking the play on To All the Pets I've Loved Before. So she wants you to take a picture of your pet, but include her book, and you can enter this contest until June 16th. So I hope you will enjoy the books. I hope you'll enjoy the movie, and I wish you the best of luck if you enter the contest. Hope you enjoy. Thank you.